Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Final Bar. I'm your host, Dave Keller with StockCharts.com. Please keep your questions and your feedback coming to us. The Final Bar at StockCharts.com. We're going to do another mailbag segment tomorrow. We'd love to answer your questions, so either send them to us via email or just put in questions during the Q&A segment during this show, and we'll take a look at them overnight and address some of the questions tomorrow. I wanted to bring on my guest, Doug Busch. Doug is from ChartSmarter. He is in the New York City area, has become a good friend over the years. And Doug, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
So you took the time to send a couple charts to me ahead of time, which I really appreciate. You are a power user of StockCharts.com. I've always been impressed by how you use the platform, the charts that you bring up here. There's sort of an animal theme to the names that you sent over, starting with Elan, E-L-A-N. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, well, if you take a look at this chart here, obviously, if you take a look, it broke above that 200-day moving average, which was important. That was on Tuesday. It was below that line for about 5 months. And if you look back to the end of last year, it failed to break below that descending triangle. And keep in mind, moves that tend to break in the opposite direction of what's perceived tend to be very swift. That was the case here. If you looked at this chart today, it actually bounced off that round 30 number and the 200-day moving average. So I think the likelihood of this being a bull trap is very small. I like this chart here. I think it could be long here with a stop at 28, Dave.
It's such a great chart, and I've always, I've talked on the show a lot about a rotation from distribution to accumulation. It certainly appears to be what you're showing them. It's this nice rotation back above the 200-day moving average. It's a really interesting chart. The second one's ZTS. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, Zoetis, another one. I mean, look, Elan, that was a spinoff from Eli Lilly. This one was a spinoff from Pfizer. A couple of these big pharma names trying to take advantage of this animal spirit, if you will. Again, I'm a big round number theory guy. You see this 130 number was pretty much a roadblock, last September, last October, finally broke above it last December. You can see there was also a break above a double bottom of 130.30, and we like that because we know the best breakouts tend to work right away. This one then proceeded to break through that bull flag trigger of 134. This carries a measured move to 150. I like this name. I like it a lot. I think it can go higher from here.
It's really interesting. And at the bottom, I just noticed, I was thinking this, you were showing it relative to the S&P, but you're actually doing it relative to the healthcare sector. What does it mean to you? How do you think about the relative picture versus what you're seeing on the chart at the top?
Well, it's, as you can see, it sort of hasn't really, let's be honest, healthcare had a great second half to last year. It was helped, obviously, by biotech. Had a 12-week winning streak to end 2019. So this one, you can see it still hasn't hit those highs it made last year, but I think this name has a lot of momentum behind it. I think it's going higher. I think you want to stay long this name, Dave.
A second great chart. The third one, CTLT. So what are you seeing on this one?
Yeah, this is a weekly chart. This is probably the lesser known of the three. This name has doubled actually since back-to-back spinning top candles. If you look at the end of 2018 there, that's why I like using candles as well, just to throw that in. I mean, those two candles actually were preceded by a 3-week losing streak that lost a quarter of its value. So a lot of value in watching candlesticks. You can see here it broke above a double bottom with handle candle. And then, of course, the best breakouts, like I said, tend to work right away. This current cup base actually found support, which was a good sign near that double bottom with handle. I like that. This week, it's up better than 6%, Dave. Took out a nice 58.48 cup base pivot. I like this name. I think you can own it here. Again, I like the round number. If it pulls back towards 60, fantastic. I like the name right here. I think all three of these names are going to participate well in 2020.
It's such a great chart, and I love, you mentioned candlesticks, and in terms of a visualization, just this middle of the chart showing you the sell-off at the end of 2018 and then the rally in 2019, the weekly candles, that's where it almost jumps off the page, the different characteristics, right, from between the left side of that and the right side, and how it just completely turned and started to rally. I'd love to know with something like this, right? Breaking to new highs, which feels good, breaking to new relative highs, which feels good, but then it's overbought, right? With an RSI above 70, how do you sort of, relate those to one another? Are you okay buying something that's overbought, or do you wait for some moment? Like, how do you think about that as part of your overall picture of the stock?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I do take it into account, Dave. But to me, price action supersedes all other indicators. Every indicator basically out there reacts to price. So I think it's best to just follow price. And keep in mind, in a bull market, overbought conditions are normal. Can it pull back? I think so. But I think long term, this is a winner. As long, I'd use a stop of 56, but try, it's a great chart. It's actually probably my favorite of the three.
This is great, Doug. Three fantastic stocks, three good charts, and I've always enjoyed following your work. I love the way that you represent things visually and think as a stock picker. So thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Dave, thank you for having me.